the Golgi complex. You might also hear it called the Golgi Apparatus or Golgi body. It's basically the cell's post office, its quality control center, and its shipping department all rolled into one. It's the whole shebang. So, this tiny little post office, how did we even find it? Let's unpack the story of its discovery and take a look at how its design is just perfectly built for the job it has to do. The story starts way back in 1898 with an Italian scientist named Camillo Golgi. He was using this special staining technique and noticed this weird structure inside nerve cells. He called it the internal reticular apparatus. For decades, a lot of people thought he was just seeing things, that it was an artifact of the stain. But then, fast forward to the 1950s, and the electron microscope comes along and proves him right. There it was, a real distinct organelle. And what's so cool is the Golgi structure. It's not just some random blob. It's this beautifully organized stack of flattened membrane sacs called cisternae. Honestly, the best way to picture it is just like a stack of pancakes. Each pancake is a different processing station. And this stack of pancakes has a clear direction, a real flow. It's got two different sides. There's the cis face, which is like the receiving dock. It faces the endoplasmic reticulum. You can think of that as the main factory and takes in all the raw materials. Then, on the other side, you have the trans face. That's the shipping department, sending out the finished products to the rest of the cell, or sometimes even outside it completely. So, how many of these Golgi stacks does a cell actually need? Well, it really depends on what that cell's job is. Your average cell might have just a few. But then you look at something like a plasma cell, which is basically an antibody factory, and it can have 20, maybe even more. And why so many? Because that's a perfect example of a core idea in biology. Structure follows function. If your entire job is to pump out thousands of antibody molecules every single second to fight off an infection, you better believe you're going to need a massive shipping and handling department. More Golgi stacks just means more capacity to get the job done. Okay, so now we know the layout of this incredible factory. Let's actually follow a single protein on its journey through the Golgi's assembly line. This is where the magic really happens. So it all starts when a tiny bubble, called a vesicle, shows up from the endoplasmic reticulum carrying some raw proteins. It merges with the cis face, the receiving dock. Then, as the protein moves through that stack of pancakes, it's like going down a factory line. It gets modified, maybe a sugar is added, it's folded into its final 3D shape, and, this is crucial, it gets tagged with a molecular shipping label that says exactly where it needs to go. Finally, it reaches the trans face, gets sorted, packaged into a brand new vesicle, and shipped out. So if you're going to remember just one thing, let it be this. The Golgi is where proteins go to get their finishing touches and their shipping labels. It takes the raw parts from the factory and turns them into fully functional, ready-to-go products. Without the Golgi, those proteins would just be useless and lost. But here's the thing. Processing proteins, that's just its day job. The Golgi is a true multitasker, handling a whole bunch of other specialized shipments that are absolutely essential for the cell. It's way more than just a post office. For instance, the Golgi actually builds lysosomes. Those are the cell's recycling and garbage disposal centers. In a sperm cell, the Golgi forms something called the acrosome, which is the specialized cap full of enzymes that's critical for fertilizing an egg. It even helps build the protective layer around the egg itself. It's not just one type of factory, it's a specialized manufacturing plant for all kinds of vital components. And you can really see this versatility when you compare plant and animal cells. In animals, yeah, the Golgi is a secretion powerhouse, shipping out stuff like hormones, mucus, and enzymes. But in plants, one of its main jobs is totally different. It ships out things like pectin and carbohydrates to build the rigid cell wall that gives plants their structure. Same organelle, totally different primary mission. Pretty cool, right? So let's zoom out and pull this all together. Let's talk about why the Golgi really is the indispensable master coordinator of the entire cell. I mean, think about it. Without this central traffic director, the cell would just grind to a halt. It would be a chaotic warehouse filled with half-finished products, no shipping labels, and no way to get anything done. The Golgi is what brings order to that chaos. It makes sure every single molecule gets to its precise destination to do its specific job. And this isn't some abstract thing happening in a textbook. This logistical precision, it's what allows your immune system to pump out antibodies. It's what lets your nerve cells release neurotransmitters so you can have a thought. Literally every complex thing your body does relies on the Golgi getting its shipments right, trillions and trillions of times a second. And that leaves us with one final, really important thought. We've seen just how vital this organelle's precision is. So, what happens when that perfectly orchestrated system starts to break down? What if the shipping labels are wrong or the packages just never get sent? This isn't just a hypothetical question. We know that defects in the Golgi are linked to some really serious problems, like neurodegenerative diseases and certain types of cancer. It just makes you realize how much of our health depends on this tiny, tireless coordinator getting its job right every single second of every day.